All right, now look, I ain't gonna keep you too long. Happy day 57. That's how I always like to start. I ain't gonna keep you too long now. Honestly, the milliseconds leading up to this, I'm like, girl, you about to face plant any moment. You sure you should be operating heavy production equipment? I don't know, but we about to find out. So I just hit record. There's a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and I'm like, and we're live, you know? That's how I know I'm like, this was part of the plan. How funny, how funny it was formed. And it was all part of the plan. You were meant to show up. Whoever's meant to see this video, I hope you're inspired to show up and talk about your story and be vulnerable enough and be able to reflect and be accountable, showing up for yourself every single day, multitasking. You doing a juice fast and you posting daily? You you up there, huh? You putting the reps in, sweetheart. You putting the reps in. But I feel it today. It's definitely an exhaustion. I'll say it at that. It's definitely exhaustion. And usually, I get the energy when I come up here. But if you tuned into my video yesterday, you'll realize why I'm feeling kind of hungover. Why you must keep your eye on the prize. Because, we have a tendency to get real comfortable. I have a tendency, let me not speak for you. I have a tendency that when I see a finish line, when I see I'm about like rounding the track, when I feel like okay, I can see it, it's in sight. I do this thing where I just let off the gas. I'm like, oh, well, I just had to prove to myself I could do it, and I did it. Oh gosh, I just have this really I'm so sorry. I have this really loud ringing that's been happening. Okay, sorry. I've been having this really loud ringing that's been happening in my head. Some people say that's divine messages coming through. Some people say depending on if it's on your left side or right side. Left side means spiritual evolution. Right side typically means physical evolution. And that one was definitely on the left side. So I'm like, huh, hit me with it. Do we got any downloads? But that's not how it works. As I mentioned in my manifestation video, when I got a real sign, real signs to hop in the grouping container after my 40-day fast group was done. So I have no problem admitting, especially as a Leo, where pride is what the Kabbalists will call atikun. Pride and scarcity is my soul corrections. I know. I know. Um, it's too many puzzles, and everybody's gonna have a different thing. They're gonna have some people's correction is reactivity, some people's correction is gluttony, some people's correction is jealousy, and there's branches to all these things, That's why I say study as much as you can. You never know what you're gonna learn from yourself. I got that from Kabbalah. I resonate heavily with Kabbalah, and if you never heard of Kabbalah, it's a Jewish mysticism. Madonna made it pretty popular back in the day. They typically have like a red thread, red string around their beautiful little wrists. And I'm gonna be talking about the Bible, and I'm gonna be probably talking about the Quran, and I'm gonna talk about I was about to butcher that. There's a girl. You too slurry. And I'm gonna talk about stoicism and philosophy, and I'm gonna talk about parasites, and I'm going to talk about God, and I'm going to talk about manifestation, and I'm going to talk about getting your ass up and doing the work, and I'm going to talk about expanding your creativity, and I'm going to, cause, sweetheart, that's where I am right now. When you get to a point where you're just like, well, um, I feel like I tried everything right. Yeah, I got some minor successes, but nothing that fully resonated with me, that fully got me alive. I was married, had a couple degrees by 25. I got right into my career, moved from California to Idaho, came out to Idaho to go to college and play a sport, went directly into a career. Never really had to do an interview. One job led to another job to another. I was scouted from typically all of my jobs. Sounds like a blessing, but I don't know. Yeah, I've always had the ambition of being able to get out of circumstances that I found undesirable. My home environment was undesirable, so somehow I got a scholarship to go a few states over. Wonderful. First one in my family. Didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I knew they wanted me, so I was like, let's go. How it all happened, miraculous. Wanted to get out of another situation. Ended up meeting my then ex-husband, and we were just cool. That's the thing about me when you don't I feel like especially women of color, it's not encouraged to have boyfriends like our, other counterparts. I grew up in an area where there was almost every race was represented. So coming to Idaho was quite a shock. Funny thing, when I had my first visit, I was on campus like, okay, we out here, we really out here. I was like, dang, everybody kind of looks like me on campus. Little did I know, little did I know, that was just the feeble representation of the athletics program. And I'm like, oh, after everything was signed, after I moved there, finally got into the social societal. I was like, oh, it's just us. Okay, all right. I, I, some people, some people take it personally. I've had many friends who have moved here, many friends of color who just don't vibe with Idaho. They don't like the stairs. They not, and it's going to always be the narrative we tell ourselves, and nobody can make me feel a certain type of way. Have I have have I had racist interactions? Yes. Have I had passive aggressive racist interactions? Yes. Have I had interactions with people who believe people who look like you don't deserve um a standard level of treatment? Yes, 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 yes. Do I choose to focus on that? Do I choose to focus on being the light in every room? Do I choose to believe that people just naturally, genuinely want to talk to me? Do I believe that it's easy to make friends anywhere? Yeah. Like, I believe that to my core. Maybe I've gotten enough evidence for it, but I just don't stress over it. I'm like, I can make a friend wherever I go. Now, do I take that friend by the hand and skip down the yellow brick road? That depends. That depends. But you're going to find what you're looking for every single time. You will find what you are looking for, and what you're looking for is looking for you. So let's purify our mind and body, our temple enough so we are calling in, even unconsciously, when you are so clean, when you are so just fucking, you could take a seat and chill, and it's going to look different for a lot of people. Your chill, just me maybe taking just the afternoon off, running you a bubble bath, putting some fulvic acid in there, like really drawing some stuff out. Maybe it's just a sexy walk by the sunset. Make yourself feel sexy, just how you walk. Walk in a straight line, force your hips to move, dress up for yourself. I was pulled over in a good way. I was getting gas, right? And I mentioned in my couple of videos ago, how this Jamaican woman stopped me. When you're fasting, your senses kind of turn up of your perception around you. So you typically can feel when somebody's staring at you. I was already, especially if you're already hyper aware, um, if you had very changing environments growing up, if you had very abusive environment at home, you become hyper vigilant because now you're anticipating the needs of the parent who comes home stressed or needs a beer or comes home drunk or comes home needing to um, project their downfalls. No, that's not the right. Project their internal sufferings onto somebody. They have to make somebody feel like they feel to understand, or they have to get energy somehow. Reactions are energy. And I've just always been the type that I just don't give things energy that I don't want to give things energy to. And to the wrong people, who feel obligated to your energy, that can turn out very dangerous. And if you're not aware of it, you'll attract it into your relationships. But in order to attract these things to you, some of it is a soul correction, like many religions believe or many spiritualists believe. You choose your parents depending on the soul correction that you are here to experience, that you begged God to come to earth to be able to experience. You begged God to come to earth to be able to experience these things, hardship, betrayal, so you'll know how to love, so you'll have compassion for humankind. So you realize that you're only a decision away from being like that homeless person or being like that multimillionaire. You're just decisions away. We asked to be here. And that's when I can kind of detach from, you know, depending on your attachment there, are you anxious attachment or you avoidant attachment? These are all little pieces to try to figure out why you do what you do. Don't you want to know why you do what you do? Don't you want to know your blind spots? Don't you want to know why you react certain ways? How come you're not getting everything you want? Don't you want to know that? I do. And that takes taking the mother layers off. And some of those layers you gotta soak in bleach to get off. Some of those layers you're gonna need some Gooby Gone. Gooby Gone. Some of those layers might just come off like a light coat in spring. Like, ooh, didn't even realize I had that on. I dropped this at the Goodwill. And some, just like the mucoid plaque I released on day 33, they you have created such a hospitable, just like with your parasites, you have just created such a hospitable environment. You're eating sugar all the time. You're eating carbohydrates. You're stressed. Nobody's ever taught you how to conduct yourself. Nobody's ever taught you the difference between acute and chronic stress. Nobody's ever shown you the statistics that people who look like you in your lineage have died from this disease repeatedly, and the majority of these diseases are stress induced. What? Nobody's taught you how to think right. Nobody's taught you how to act right. Nobody's taught you how to communicate your needs. Nobody's taught you don't have to carry that resentment because you don't have to do everything. Be a cheerful giver. Give because it feels good for you to give. If it doesn't feel good for you to tithe, if it doesn't feel good for you to tip, which is crazy work, don't do that. Maybe you need to volunteer on the weekends at the homeless shelter. Maybe you need to go to the canning company or what's it called? We got the food banks out here. And maybe you need to go build boxes for them in their warehouse. They're always looking for you to pack boxes. I'm a tipper. I love to tip. I love to make people, that makes me feel good. I like to serve people who are providing a service for me. Like where I go get red light. I just bought this girl. We've only had a few exchanges and she really liked my hat. I have like a different color hat every time. I didn't know this was cat hair, so I thought it looked like something else. But she's like, "Oh my God, I love your hat." She gives me great consistent service. And she goes out of her way to make my day, to provide me a service. I remember she liked my hat. It was a Amazon. It was on Amazon for like $5. I put it in a beautiful gift box, and I always love to handwrite notes and just tell people how much I appreciate them. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for making this process easy for me. Thank you for being so professional. I buy Starbucks gift cards. I buy, coaches at my gym. Oh, I remember you say you like this really nice this croissant from downtown at that brunch place that we went to that one time. Acts of service is just my jam. Make sure you know if you like to receive love like that too. Sweetheart, I thought I was an acts of service type of girl on the receiving end. And then people just started talking to me nice. I'm like, maybe I'm a words of affirmation mommy up in here. Cause the way he's talking, what do you say? Say more. Never say less. Say more. Say more. That could be the lion in me. You know, like all this cat fur. Got the cat hat. I'm embodying this stuff. I feel like a lion on these streets. Nobody got to tell me anymore. I was stopped today. I was stopped today at the gas station. Oh boy, bringing it back. So, hypervigilance, you're just hyper aware of everything already. Fasting kind of heightens that a little bit. You can tell when it's like a light tug. Somebody's tugging on your energy. But of course, now you've known how to choose where you will focus your energy. And I have declared that I will not distract myself from my current mission of being present until somebody acknowledges me and needs my attention. I had to have this conversation with a couple of my homeboys a couple of weeks ago. We were out doing something and they were just starting to talk. And when I noticed nobody answered, I'm like, who are you talking to? Now I'm getting pissed off because you breaking my focus. I'm talking to you, Brie. Honey, I'm gonna need to save me energy right now, to save us both energy, and for you to save the redundance of repeating yourself. Just throw me a hey B, Bree, what do you think of this? More than happy. Grab my attention. Don't assume that people will just are waiting for you to talk. My back was turned to you. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me when my back is turned to you. Have the backbone to be like, excuse me. I make sure people know I'm talking to them. It just makes my inner Bronx come out. Like, come on, people. Come on, people. Meet me halfway. Meet me halfway. I already told y'all how I feel about people saying have a good day. Once I passed the counter, I've already passed. Now you got me doing a whole 180 subtransfutical spin. Now my spine, I'm at an opportunity to spaz up. My L4 been a little loosey goosey. Now, why didn't you tell me as I was passing you? Anywho, this gentleman, I was getting some gas. I had to go inside for something. I think I had to use the restroom because we hydrate over here, and I was just like, I'm not gonna make it to my next stop. I have to, and I know this specific place has a relatively nice bathroom because I've been in there before. I'm like, the ladies take care of this bathroom. Oh Lord, but the ladies' bathroom wasn't ready. It was locked, so I had to go into the men's. I'm like, it was an emergency. It was. I was hurting. I was hurting. And I just went in there like a horror movie. I was like, okay, B, just don't touch anything. And it wasn't even that bad, but I'm like, there was piss droplets on the lid was up and there was just piss droplets. I'm like, how do you miss that bad? But if you coming into the gas station, I'm sure you're getting that hot dog on the little roller grill thing. You're getting a Mountain Dew. So you probably been having cataracts since '08. So I don't even blame you. You can't even see straight, sir. So I almost levitated in the squat that I did. I'm like, all right. And I was like, oh, I don't want to touch anything. I was like, okay, majority of the stuff is motion sensor. Except for the soap. Oof, okay. Woo. Then I got up out of there. But the whole way I was going from my car to I felt I was being watched. And I'm grateful to be acknowledged. Let's put that out there. Mama's shaking in these streets. And there was a particular call that I felt like, wow, your bass is really hitting and not in the best way. So I'm like, okay, I can profile things, which I'm sure a lot of you do, without even taking all the sensory in. I already knew what type of person I was dealing with. I didn't even need to look at the car to know what car I was dealing with. I was like, okay, all right. And the fact that I don't acknowledge it when typically people who are blasting their music that loud or that aggressively, or they have just they're looking for energy. If you are wanting attention in certain frequencies just like that, Some people will say, I do it because I love it. Okay. If you're still in elementary school, okay. You have a need, you have a lack that is feeling. I don't acknowledge it because that's what people want the most is acknowledgement. And acknowledgement is so expensive nowadays. I'm like, no, we know how expensive attention is. Everybody's vying for our attention. Marketers, recruiters, people, you know? And as I come back out, I'm like, all right, got everything good. I had Ross with me. He was in the passenger. I'm like, okay, cool. We're good. And I got the Mitsubishi Mirage right now. Oh, Raj and Raj, Mirage. And so it's about 12.81. No, it's not like that, but it's about $15 to fill her up. Not gonna lie. I'm like, I get that car back on Sunday and I get a new car and I'm gonna miss that. I'm like, girl, you a cheap date, girl. I like to see it every so often. I had an electric car before that. She was picky. She was picky. I'm like, look, she was finicky. She didn't want to go for long rides. You had to feed her all the time. I'm like, yo, I don't know. I don't know. Anywho, so I was going to pull off and I saw the car coming right around. I was, oh, go ahead, go ahead. And he's like, no, you go ahead. I was like, and he kept on doing this. I was like, oh, I was like, I rolled down the window. I was like, yo, we gotta go. We gotta go. I was like, yo. I didn't say all that, but I was like, are you telling me to go? I don't want no problems. I'm driving somebody else's car. Like, if this was my car, I would have sped off already. I don't want no problems. Because he was kind of like, he was close. I was right here, and he was like right here. And we both needed to go that way. It was a black man. He actually was quite decent looking. He looked like he was in his young 30s. It's just, baby, honey, coming off in the wild, everybody's already feral. Everybody assumes you to be feral. When you're approaching somebody in the wild, especially, come on, at a gas station, at a Walmart parking lot, in front of a Staples, I mean, like, come off just cool and relax, you know? He was like, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you, you're really beautiful." Um, he said something like that was me in the car. So I was like, "Motherfucker, what?" I was looking from point A to point B. You don't need to paint the picture. I don't need no context because I didn't require any. Thank you. I thought, oh, well, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. So you married? Oh, you're still here. I thought, of course, it doesn't just end in a compliment. You can't just uplift to uplift. You gotta get your reps in. I respect it. You gotta get your reps in. I said I'm married to God. And he's like, that's a good place to be. And I said, may he bless us both today. All right, now have a good day. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take off. Thank you. And he yelled, he's like, ooh, patient and humble. I don't know if he said he was being patient and humble, or was he classifying your girl as patient and humble. I was like, clearly, first impressions ain't nothing. So that's what you picked up. Cool, cool. I'll take it. Add it to my repertoire. Add it to my repertoire. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I had your girl perked up. Oh gosh. And then I remember another event that happened today. Girl, it could go your emotions. That's how I know I still got parasites. Number one, when I had that little free Starbucks things yesterday, I turned into it was more erotic because I was like, "Ooh, I haven't had this in so long." That's how I know I still got parasites. I'm like, "Oh, you motherfuckers! They get in here. They know how you think. They know how you think. They're smart. They thrive in dark, warm areas. They got, all they using mucoid plaque to cover them. They're encased. They got all that mucus from all that, that inflammatory stuff you be eating. They just coat themselves and protect themselves, and they'll come out. Typically, I learned this. Parasites have a tendency to come out on full moons because with full moons, it increases your serotonin production. The happy chemical, the one that gives you self-worth, that makes you give a ish about yourself. Girl, you ain't ugly. You got parasites making you think you ugly. I've been drilling nose deep. I'm like, why do I still get exhausted? Yes, I'm coming over some sniffles I got a couple of weeks ago, but I'm like, why don't I have the energy that I really, really know is capable on fast? Girl, you start to reverse engineer, like, okay, so when did I actually, you start to understand how you can catch parasites? It could be your water, it could be your ex-husband. Like, when did you start showing symptoms? And I tuned it all the way back. The self-worth, the brain fog, the reproductive issues, the mood swings, the cravings. I'm sure I had a strain before I was married, but all those symptoms got maxed when I got married. Mind you, my ex-husband was from Detroit. I was from South Central LA. Both food deserts. We grew up on the corner store, Chinese food, donut holes, Mexican food. We grew up on that. Thankfully, with our muscle mass and culturally, we can pull it off well. But internally, our organs, yeah, we can sustain muscle a little more effortlessly, honestly. But holy, look at what we're dying from. Look at these environments. We are the only country that doesn't push parasite cleanses. Yet, majority of our illnesses. Yo, I'm sorry. I know I have to know this stuff and learn this stuff on behalf of the community I'm looking to help. I just gotta, it's just that exposure therapy. Usually I'm not squeamish on stuff like this, but I'm like, girl, Candida is a parasite. I didn't start developing Candida until I got married. I used to look and it ran in my family. I'm like, oh, because you heifers don't know how to manage stress and take care of yourself. That just exasperates everything. You don't know how to properly nourish yourself. You don't never looked at the blood because they didn't have the opportunity to. I'm single. I have no kids. I'm the oldest woman in my lineage that does not have kids at this age. Bitch, you better be learning something. Okay. You ain't got no responsibilities outside of you and your dog. What a privilege. But also, I think people do have that advantage when their livelihood, somebody else outside of them, their livelihood, like a dog or like a not like a dog, like a kid or a close family member or friend who they have the honor to live for or provide for, I think it ignites a different type of spark in you. When it's just you, you can maul in your woeiness. You can just replay, girl, you're replaying the same thoughts. You are not going, just because you know your symptoms doesn't classify you as being, um, I don't want to say educated, but it does not classify you as being your own like savior or your own just because you know a symptoms doesn't qualify you to be able to heal those symptoms. Just because your check engine light came on doesn't make you a mechanic. You gotta outsource this, baby. You gotta find what works. You gotta invest time in this. You gotta be true to this. You gotta be consistent to know what actually works. I just bought a kit I could not afford today. Yes, yes, I can. Yes, I can. It felt right. And when I was checking out, this was like a $300 kit that I've been researching for the last couple of days. I'm like, something's just pulling me to this, to do this parasite cleanse. And I've done, is it Dr. Bobby Price? I still have Yaki Awakens herbs back here. So I'm gonna do that in the meantime. While these other tinctures, this woman, she's called the Worm Queen, and I just found out about her through just follow the breadcrumbs of interest that you naturally have. That may be your next. lesson, that could be your next breakthrough, that could be your what this excited me. I'm like, I'm gonna find a way and the money is just gonna show up. I just know it will. Mind you, I just invested in a 4-digit course. And my mind's like, you ain't got nothing to lose. I'm like, bitch, you got some shit to lose. Let's not get too crazy. But is it just a supernatural trust? I'm like, I feel like I'm on the right road of where I'm being guided. Some things you have to make executive decisions. Like this felt good. I've done way too much research. I'm invested. I'm invested. I'm such a nerd in that where I get hyper fixated on new information. I want to know the statistics. I want to know the studies. And I need to try it on myself first before I can come to any judgment. Okay. That's why you have to really take the layers off, understand yourself, know yourself, learn yourself. Just how this woman came up with this brilliant idea, she saw a woman in her similar situation and how she got out of it. And she was curious, curious enough. And that woman provided the information on how she got out of it. Find somebody who's doing stuff you want to do. How did they do that? Okay, if that doesn't resonate, okay. I've been challenged with that. Like, I just don't resonate with some people. Some things feel good, feel good, feel good. Little crumb here, but I don't resonate with the whole. That's because you're the person you've been waiting to hear from, sweetheart. You were meant to take a piece from here, a piece from here, a piece from here, a piece from here, put it together and make your own protocol. And that's going to resonate with the right people. That your exact protocol, where you came from, not having a safety net, really doing this with you and God. You have to depend on God. You ain't got nobody else in your limited 3D mind. In your mind, these parasites essentially have isolated you. All y'all need is each other. They'll provide you with the cravings. You provide it with the sugar and the salt and the oil and the carbs. And like, wait a minute, let's let's not let's not complicate this. We got a good thing going. Until it's not. Drinking some mineral water. Because I feel freaking hungover. Swear, it's like drinking like a Budweiser, Coors Light. Like, woo. Pull up my lazy boy. I will get answers. And I'm not going to stop until I get answers. I am being called, just like I know you feel like you're being called for something greater. And we need to have our critical thinking intact. Okay? We need to manually reset our nervous system, okay? We need to get these uninvited guests that you picked up from that tick or you picked up from accidentally grounding and stepping in some whatever kind of poop. You have a dog, so yes, you'll need to deworm. I was like, I don't even remember the last time. Raj is on a membership, so we go in. Does he have the dewormer? Right? Yeah, that's part of the package, right? That all animals have to do. Like, they have to do that to get groomed, right? Well, anywho, I need to look more into the package that he be getting because I think we both still, he looking over me like, huh? He sleeps in the bed with me. He gets me on my lips sometimes. And now I can't even, I'm like, Raj. I was like, chill. Enough with the kisses, sweetheart. Chill. Mama's going through something. She's seen a lot of images. Just chill. Okay? Just chill till we figure this the fuck out. Okay? Parasites can hijack your thoughts, your mind. You're not crazy. Oh my gosh. I remember when my body was so inflamed, I had developed cystic acne. This is in my late 20s. They were pumping me with estrogen and they were pumping me with progesterone. I couldn't get turned on. I was vegged out. I was numbed out. Hormones just, stressful job. unfulfilling marriage, just still working, I'm a functioning depression. Just how you have the functioning alcoholics, I still do what I gotta do, but I'm not remembering anything. I'm barely coherent. I can't retain friendships. When your focal point is so pin needled, when you're just trying to get to the next day, sweetheart, and you've done that for years, this is not living. Something else is taking over. Now we need to get so fucking strict. We just need to tighten up. That's all I'm gonna tell you. You don't need to get strict. Just tighten up. Whatever you got doing, just tighten it up a little more. Cause I saw this little bit. Oh my gosh, you guys! Right after I got basically ambushed at the gas station, I was like, "Oh, okay, Breezy, go ahead, girl." Just a reflection of how you're starting to feel with yourself. I'm like, dang, I'm still getting these aggressive feral hyenas out here. Like, man, the one I really wanted was in Albertsons. Albertsons has always got talent. Albertsons, Idaho. I don't know about your Albertsons in Wisconsin, but our Albertsons out here, especially like in the North End, that's our version of that's our uppity, version. I can't remember California cities anymore. I was trying to think of cities. I was like Beverly Hills, not. I guess Eagle would be Beverly Hills. And the North End will kind of be like Venice Beach, Hollywood Hills type ish, very liberal. But yeah, oh my gosh. This white chocolate who didn't know he was white chocolate. And when I say white chocolate, it's typically a white man who has, he's pretty lined up, got a little swag on him, knows how to dress. He had the trench coat, which I was like, brother, it's a little warm for a trench coat, but you pulling it off, so I'm gonna give you all your points. And I saw him in the parking lot. I was like, dang, he looks good. He had a three-piece suit on I was like, wow, he looks my age. He just carried himself well. It looked like he took care of. You can just tell when people are just taking care of themselves. It's very attractive, especially when women are out in the prowl and they're modest. They know they carry just a certain energy with them. And I was like, wow, I could admire from afar. I'm like, I think I just did that. Not like he's a piece of meat, just like, I see you. And then we ran into each other in the produce section, and I was like, brother, you look really good. He's like, oh, thank you. And I was like, yeah, you're welcome. And that was it. I was like, nothing back. Okay, no problem. I got to learn I'm still teaching myself to sit in situations that I don't need to feel by saying something. Like, let there be a little awkward silence for a couple of seconds and then walk away. Don't just be so reactive. Be present. I get to practice every single day doing this stuff. And yeah, he looked real good, but he put his eyes down like he didn't want to look at me. I'm like, okay, that guy was kind of turned off, but maybe I couldn't handle him looking at me either because he looked real good. Me and Raj went on a hike. Oh my gosh, especially downtown. There's like a ton of parks. And usually, I let him chase the geese. The geese be pooping everywhere. I'd be like, I really don't care. I really don't care. We have so many geese. Bird flu is crazy. I'm about to start crying. No, don't do that. Raj was chasing the geese like he always does, and there was a pack of geese like in this playground, and we're the only ones there. And he goes running, and then sorry, I don't know what that's about. And he goes running, and there's one who just won't take off. Like he can't take off. Like these geese, I've never seen a goose not take off and just fly. They make that wah wah, and they'll just fly. And this one, we were in a movie scene. He just cornered them in like the gated little playground. And I was just like, oh gosh. And he was just running for his life. He was like, but he couldn't take off. And I just saw his left wing was broken. Oh my God, stop. Yo, I'm terrified of birds. So when I saw him coming towards me, I was like, yo, chill, yo, chill. I was like, Ross, chill. Stop chasing him. I was like, that goose is twice your size. What you gonna do with him anyway? And he was just flapping over this little privileged white dog. And I just started crying. To be the cause of suffering for anything, just, I, that's been on the verge for a while. It's getting easier for me to access and just cry on just when I feel it, and it definitely enhances while you're fasting to just tap into emotion, like raw emotion like that. And I just could not stop crying. I was like, I gotta do something. And his arm, like he was just walking away, and his arm, like, oh, God. I don't know why that makes me so emotional. I rescued a duck that was injured last year, and he was caught in the bush, and I was just crying. I was like, and he kept running away from me. And out in Idaho, we have like an aviation club. Like a lot of it's just volunteers, just volunteering to save. There's a birds of prey. We have a birds of prey department who are more rare birds, and then we have the Humane Society for like we have a lot of geese and ducks and stuff like that. So I was like, I gotta do something about this. Like his wing was just it was pretty messed up and it was kind of dragging behind him. I'm like, girl, you are deadly terrified of birds. What you gonna do? You saw his wingspan when Raj was chasing him. He looked huge. And he started running towards me. I'm like, I can't don't run towards me. And so I looked up and I from trying to rescue this duck last year who had a broken wing and he wouldn't let me rescue. And I was just, I was breaking down crying. I was like, why won't you just let me help you? Why won't you just let me help you? And that was the word too. I was like, ooh, is that something you need to hear? And so I was just crying. I was like, girl, my makeup, I had just done my makeup. And girl, I was crying. And I was like, I gotta call somebody. So I remember like there's an aviation, like a nonprofit aviation crew, but they're, volunteer based only. So I called this number and I was like, "Hi, my name's yada yada. I'm here at this park. I named the park, exactly where we were. My dog was chasing this bird, the goose, and I saw that he couldn't take off, and it looked like his left wing was severely broken, like behind him, dragging slightly behind him. Do I got a connection with birds? I don't know. Sometimes they say the thing you fear most, you actually need to indulge the most. Like if you fear the dark, you need to spend more times in dark. Part of me is like, that. If you feel water, there's a divine connection for water. Like you revere it. You revere the power of water. It may not just be a fear. You probably just revere it in some way that comes off as fear. And so I called this number, left a message, and I'm like, please just tell me what to do. And so a woman called me back, left me a message. She's like, hi, Brianna, this is basically volunteer work, and we're only here for a few hours. I hear what you're saying. Um, she said all of the people who would be able to pick him up, they're not here, and there's we're we're in a vulnerable place for bird flu, so we're not taking any new like birds. And then she told me like there's areas kind of in that park where I told her about that people actually come and feed the birds who have migrated here and they either got injured or whatever, and they kind of just hang out here until I don't know. I was like, I don't know the life cycle of a bird. I've never really have an Idaho goose. I've never really looked up the life cycle. Does anybody have a motherfucking Wikipedia that I could reference? But she basically said he'll be fine. And I was just like, oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. But how dope would it have been to be like, how much you need? I'll give you 10,000 right now. Let's get you just set for the rest of the season and let's hire some short-term person. It's just I get processed suffering for some reason. And I was like, what if I damaged it more? Like I thought I said it was okay for Raj. Raj will only chase something if I say it's okay. And that just oh gosh, that was deep. I was crying. I needed that release though. All my makeup was, it was pretty good though. Pretty good makeup. But sometimes you're just gonna find you need that release. And it's gonna come in ways that you did not expect. And after that, I've just kind of been in a foggy, just feeling like I figured out the source of the brain fog, the source of the self-worth, the source of just the inexplicable symptoms where doctors that I trusted basically telling me you just gonna have to live with this. Sometimes you gonna have to take that rough rider road. Some people are gonna find their cure on their first try. That's not your journey. This is your journey. So I'm feeling hopeful. I feel like there's something with this. I feel like this juice cleanse has prepped me for like doing some real digging biologically, emotionally, spiritually, and I'm here for it. This shit is really in layers. Like it's layers to this. You got you got who knows, eggs, all types of oh my I've seen too much. I've seen too much. The correlation to the personality traits, the correlation, it's gotta be it. You still ain't got energy? You still don't have the full function of your brain? That's because something else is taking 90% of your nutrients and has been taking 90. And it's so funny that the woman, the researcher I was listening to, she's like, yeah, you only got 10% access of the nutrients you get because that stead farm livestock of parasites you've been feeding over these last few years, they multiply. Even if they're under threat of attack of being extinguished, their last move would be to lay eggs to keep their legacy forward, going forward. Isn't that wild? They'll self-sacrifice, believe eggs on the way out. So their children like, no, this is too nice of a host. Girl, you Airbnb-ing at 5 stars. But now that you know better, are you going to do better? Are you at least going to try to understand better? I've just been getting these resources come to me that just resonate with my soul. So I have to believe it's part of my path. So that's what I got for you so far. I really need to, yeah, I'm feeling it today. It is 10 o'clock tonight in Boise, Idaho on a Thursday night, Thirsty Thursday. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll have updates, I'm sure, for you tomorrow. All right. I love you so much. We just got to get up out of here. 47 minutes. Lord have mercy. Such a blessing. Okay. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.